guys, Dawson Widrick here from Nerdy in Many Ways, and welcome to today's trailer reaction to the newest trailer for No Time to Die, the newest installment in the James Bond series. Now, unless you live under a rock, you probably have seen this commercial already or this trailer, and I'm really excited for it. I hope you guys are too, because again, it's a James Bond movie. I mean, there's very few times, unless you go back to like the 80s and 90s, where the James Bond series has not really delivered on a great movie. I mean, Spectre was great, Skyfall was great, Quantum of Solace was kind of meh. But then, of course, you have Casino Royale, which really started things off with Daniel Craig. And, of course, that is the man who is returning to the helm of the James Bond character. But we do know, and we've known for a couple months, or even a year, actually, that this is his last stint as the character James Bond. And so it'll be a really interesting thing to see is how they handle his exit of the character. Will they try to make it so that he retires, or will they make it so that it kind of starts things over again? We'll just have to see. But we also see Lea Seydoux, I think how you pronounce her name, return as Madeline Swan, James Bond's love interest of the previous film, which is very interesting because there's very few times in the James Bond series that we have seen a Bond girl return to the next movie after she was featured in the one prior. Of course, unless you count the lady who is in, Casino Royale and how it affected him later, but I'm not really going to count that. This is one of the very few times that this has happened. But before I get too far ahead myself, I want to make sure to let you guys know that if you guys are looking for sports conversations and life discussions in general, to check out the Sorry to Bother You podcast on Spotify, hosted by my good friend Lashana Lynch. Again, I mentioned them before, but they do such a great job at talking about the mental aspect of sports, as well as just difficult situations in life and how to handle those in your own way. And definitely check them out. Again, it's the Sorry to Bother You podcast on Spotify, featuring my good friend Lashana Lynch. We also see the return of Christoph Waltz as one of the main bad guys of James Bond. Of course, I don't think he is going to have as impactful of a role in this film as he did in the previous one in Spectre, because from what it seems in the trailers, it seems that he is some sort of like prison confinement, and that he's not really going to be able to be free to do a lot unless he has some sort of prison break or he like pulls the strings from behind the scenes. I don't see him as being the main villain. In fact, I see Rami Malek's character, who we see throughout the trailer and just absolutely looks awesome. I see him being the main character or main villain of this film. And Rami Malek is a fantastic actor in his own right. I mean, he was Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, he's Aquaman Raw and Night at the Museum, he's Mr. Robot. I mean, he's won several awards, deservedly so. And I'm really excited to see Rami Malek as a Bond villain and how he handles that transition from being kind of a more, I guess, an iconic character like Freddie Mercury to more evil and sinister, and exactly what a Bond villain needs to be. We also see in the trailer another 00 agent played by Lashana Lynch. Now, for the past couple of years, it's been rumored and kind of petitioned for to have James Bond's character be transitioned to either an African-American man, such as Idris Elba, or transitioned into an African-American woman, at least a 007 character, maybe changing it from James Bond to another person entirely. And so we see, of course, this 00 agent is an African-American woman, and it seems like she will be heavily involved in the storyline, at least to a certain degree. And so what I think might happen is it might end up being a transitional movie from James Bond being 007 to whoever Lashana Lynch plays as the 007 agent. And so, again, I think, because it's interesting, because last time we had a character change or an actor change for James Bond was when Pierce Brosnan and it transitioned to Daniel Craig. But at that point, Pierce Brosnan didn't realize that he wasn't having the role of James Bond anymore. It really wasn't communicated to him that that was the case. This case is different. We know that Daniel Craig's last stunt is in this film. We know this is going to be the last time he's going to be James Bond. So we know that the studios are going to try to make this transitional period from Daniel Craig's James Bond to another version of the character. Overall, I'm really excited for this movie. I mean, it's a James Bond movie. What else are you going to be excited for? I mean, James Bond, again, has rarely not delivered on the silver screen, at least to a certain extent. It's rarely never not made money, right? And as long as these things continue to make money, they're going to continue making more. And because this thing has 007 and James Bond in it, it's going to make money. People are going to go out to the theaters to see it. It's basically a national holiday. It's a worldwide holiday where you go and see James Bond 007. It's just what you do. And so that's my thoughts on the trailer for No Time to Die starring Daniel Craig. What are you guys' thoughts? Leave them down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, ring that little bell to make sure you get my newest content every single week. And I will see you guys next time.